everybody. I'm excited to be with you guys today to show you guys an ink project. Ink is one of my favorite things to actually do. I was so scared of doing it before I started doing this all the time, and I was just terrified because it is semi-permanent, but it's not scary. It works actually. I think it's a lot more fun than paste because you can work at a slower pace with it. Not paste. Alright guys, let me double check and make sure I am in the right group, and I am. Okay, so if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. We're also going to heat set it today so you guys can see how that all works. Our ink mats come in two different sizes. This is our 11 by 23 mat, and I'm going to cut this apart because I actually use these ones for two different projects. I'm going to cut this apart to just be enough for this size, which is a B size. And then the bottom part I use for like my banners and stuff like that. We also have an 18 by 18, so let's get started. You don't have to necessarily keep the packaging for this, but you do want to keep the actual plastic that goes over top of this because it protects your ink mat. This does tell you on the back like how to use the ink mat, and of course on the back of your transfers there is care instructions. So what I like to do is I like to sit my transfer on this ink mat and figure out exactly where I need to cut, and then move that off to the side so you're not going to risk cutting it. We're going to make a t-shirt today, which I'm super excited to do. Alright, so the rest of this ink mat I'm just going to set off to the side. There is a plastic film that goes over top of this, but because we are doing the design like this way, obviously, we're going to use the ink mat to go up underneath. I do use a t-shirt form on my t-shirts only because I like the way it sits. It helps me guide where I want the actual design. It just helps me a lot. There is, like I said, a plastic film on this. You want to keep that plastic film. These are easily washable. I'm going to tell you right now, they say you can use a board eraser and water. I don't, because the board eraser sticks to it. What I use is a Lysol wipe or a Clorox wipe. Do not use baby wipes. Baby wipes will take the stickiness away. Same with our transfers. So I treat this like a transfer. I just don't use the board eraser to clean it. Instead, I use Lysol wipes or any disinfecting wipe. So we're going to slide this in here, figure out exactly where I want to put that design, and then you're going to go and push this down. It's going to stick. You can see there's a little bit of a crease there. So what I like to do is I like to just make sure it's nice and tight, exactly where I want it. I'm looking at this. It is exactly where I want it. I'm going to sit down off to the side. Hold on a second. And we do not have to fuzz. That is one of the great things, too, about using ink. But you can use the same transfer with ink and paste. We are going to make the Momma, Mommy, Mom transfer. And we're going to use two different paste colors. We're going to do the Momma, Mommy, and Mom in bright white, and Bruh in Couture Coral, or teal, which is one of our signature colors. So we are going to really quickly, right on the back, like I always do, and then always do a dash mark. I still do the same thing with my transfers as I do with when I'm using ink or using paste. So we're just going to lay this down right on that ink mat. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to stand up. I usually stand up and look and see if that's the right placement before I get started because it is semi-permanent. That is not exactly, let me see here. It's a little on the crooked side. So we're going to fix that. Kind of trying to go off of this. A lot of times I will use a clip too to clip this onto this t-shirt form. The t-shirt form you can get anywhere at any craft store. You can get it offline, anywhere like that. So just keep that in mind. And it is supposed to be kind of offset a little bit. Now you could always put it, you know, more centered if that's how you want to do it. But you know it's kind of left side. So I'm just going to kind of put it like that because I like that look. And it is sticky, guys. I mean, it is so sticky. Alright. That is a good placement for me. So, as always, you want to make sure that your transfer is down nice and tight. Like I said, sometimes I use clips. Usually I have clothespins, but for some odd reason they're not in my chalk room today, so I don't know. But we are going to get started. You always want to mix your paste and ink, and the only way that this is going to be permanent is if you heat set it. So that's why I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. You always want to start off the silk screen and run the ink through that silk screen. Now with ink, you are going to want to make sure that you're going kind of heavy with it, especially if it's on a dark shirt, because if it does not go heavy, it's going to look kind of faded unless that's the look you're going for. And you can only go in one direction, either up and down or left to right. You don't want to go in multiple different directions like you can with paste. And the reason why is because, like I was saying, you don't want it to bleed out. It's a certain way you've got to do it, but you will be fine. I always go over it just a couple times just to make sure that it's dark enough. Now, I always wash these after I actually do the project. I never wash the t-shirt beforehand unless I need to wash it. If it's like pre-shrunk, I'll wash it, but for the most part I do not. And I always wash them inside out, kind of like you do with vinyl shirts. I just do that to protect the ink, but you don't have to do that. That's just a recommendation. Now, one of the great things is I don't have to pull that up yet because that's not going to dry in that silk screen. Now, the slug mark is still silk screen, so you want to be careful with that slug mark, which mine's down here at the bottom. But I'm just going to go over this a couple times to make it the right thickness that I want. You can always use placement tape, and of course I will be putting everything we used here today in a cartlink. You can get your shirts from anywhere. If you even have a shirt, just a plain t-shirt, before you do this, you want to make sure that you actually don't have any fabric softener in it. It's going to take better if you don't have any fabric softener. Just a tip there. You always want to remove the ink mat as well when you're heat setting, because you'll burn your ink mat. You don't want to do that either. Alright guys, it's time for the pull and reveal, which is the best part of the whole project, right? You want to make sure your hands are completely clean, because if you have any ink on them, you're going to transfer that onto your shirt. You don't want to do that. There is our awesome design. I'm super excited about this. Okay, so because I'm going to heat set this for you guys, I'm not going to let this sit for 24 to 48 hours. Normally you would. Normally you just let it sit off to the side for 24 to 48 hours and you let it kind of just absorb into that fabric. However, because I'm going to speed the process up, I'm actually going to pull this off of its ink mat which I'm getting ink all over the back of my hand. I can feel it, but that's okay. It can wash off. It is water soluble. Alright. Now I'm going to let this kind of lay out. Let it sit like that. I am going to wash my hands because I have ink all over my hands. But it is water soluble, so you can wash that off. That's why it's only semi-permanent, because what could happen is you could forget to heat set it, throw it in the laundry. Guess what? Your design is going to wash right off. So we don't want that, obviously, to happen. I'm going to move the inks off to the side. I'm going to show you guys how to clean this as well. I'm looking, there's my Lysol wipes. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how to clean that. Let me grab my Lysol wipes real quick. You can use Lysol. I've used 7th generation. I've used Clorox before as well. So you can see that there's ink on that. This is still super sticky. You can leave that if you don't want to clean it right away. I'm just going to clean it to show you guys how to do this, okay? So let me take this design and move it for just a second off to the side. Let's sit it right here just for a second. Okay, so you're going to take that Clorox wipe and just kind of go over top of this, cleaning that ink right off. Clorox wipes, Lysol wipes, any of the disinfecting wipes will not take that stickiness off of your backer sheet or your sticky, oh, it's over here, I'm sorry, your stickiness off of your ink mat. So you want to let that sit for just a minute, let it kind of dry, and then you're going to put your plastic back over top. I just noticed I'm putting it on upside down. And that's ready for another project. Super cool, right? All right, let's grab our t-shirt. All right, so we are going to speed up this process just so I can show you guys how to heat set. Okay. So I'm going to turn on my Cricut Easy Press. That's what I'm using. I am not going to use an iron, okay? I don't normally use an iron. I don't actually care for the iron, but it does tell you how to do it with an iron. I'm going to show you guys how to do it with a Cricut Easy Press. Okay, so we turn the Cricut Easy Press on. Well, we do if it's plugged in. Let's see what is happening with my plug-in here. Okay, there we go. We got it on. So 330 for 30 seconds. We're going to let that heat up. We're going to take our quick dry tool on high. You can do this with a hairdryer as well. And we're just going to go over this while that's heating up and kind of quit making this dry even faster. You don't want the ink to be tacky at all. That's why you normally would let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. That Cricut Easy Press is going to heat up pretty fast, so we're just going to get this started, the process started. And then we'll take it off of the t-shirt form. Because obviously we're not going to heat set it on the t-shirt form. Now our quick dry tool does get really warm. So that's one of the reasons why I throw this into the cartlink. It is worth its weight in gold, guys, I'm telling you. It's an awesome tool. And I love that it's got two settings. If you were going to do this with an iron, you would do the iron on medium heat cotton setting with no steam. And you would do 4 minutes on one side, 4 minutes on the other. With the Cricut Easy Press, it's 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. I'm not telling you guys to go buy a Cricut Easy Press. Not doing that. But I'm just telling you, if you have one, these ink projects are going to go so much faster. That's already set up. I'm just going to feel this a little bit. Okay, that H is a little bit tacky. The rest of it isn't tacky anymore. H has got a spot right there where it's a little tacky. Alright. So we are going to take this off of its t-shirt form. Which doesn't want to come off. Of course not. Not too fast. Alright. Now I'm going to lay my mat down. Check my table, of course. Okay, so when you're using a Cricut Easy Press or an iron, you always want to obviously protect your surface you're doing that on, unless you're doing it on an ironing board. You also want to grab a piece of parchment paper. Parchment paper, very important. Do not use wax paper. It will melt to your design and it will ruin it. Parchment paper is a protective barrier. I'm going to stick this on here for 30 seconds. And we're going to heat set this. Keep in mind, you can keep using the same piece of parchment paper over and over and over again. I buy mine off Amazon only because they're already pre-cut. I have done the rolls, obviously, from the grocery store. Same thing. Parchment paper is parchment paper. However, wax paper is not the same thing, okay? So, wax will heat up, stick to your design. You can kind of, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's some steam coming off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the t-shirt inside out. We're going to lay this down, and you can see the design is right there through it. Pick up that parchment paper that just fell. And we are going to lay the parchment paper back over top and do this one more time. You would do the same process with an iron. You would just do 4 minutes one side, 4 minutes the other. Then it will be permanently heat set, ready to wear, ready to wash, all of that. You can do the same thing with towels, t-shirts, jackets, jeans, pants, baby onesies. There's so many awesome projects that can be made with the awesome ink project. Alright, we're going to set this parchment paper off to the side. And another budget-friendly tip, right? And now that shirt is ready to go. It is ready to wear, ready to be put on, washed, all of that. So that is how you use ink. Same process that is with paste. You just get to go a little bit slower, and it's so much fun. I hope this was very educational for you guys. I hope you loved this tutorial. And if you guys want to see more tips, tricks, and demos, I will put my link for my business page in. You guys can watch that all the time. There will be a post or a live video every day for the month of April. So you guys have a fabulous day. I will see you all here tomorrow for the last day of our event with another awesome Club Couture project. Thanks, guys.